These brothers built a chai empire that is on pace to do $10 million in revenue. Kolkata Chai Co. is bringing authentic chai tea to the States through multiple New York City brick-and-mortar locations, as well as a booming e-commerce business. They have a rabid community that fiends over their food and includes A-list celebrities like Chris Rock, Keanu Reeves, and Hassan Minaj. But nothing about their journey has been linear or easy. The sons of immigrants, Ani and Ayan, saw the realities of starting from scratch in a new country.
First generation immigrants, our parents came here. It's a very rocky, uncertain path.
The scrappy and spontaneous story behind Kolkata Chai Co. all starts with Ayan's spontaneous one-month trip to India. And upon his return, he realized his culture and cuisine were not properly represented in the United States. I dropped by their cozy Nolita Cafe to ask them about their viral chai brand, as well as the playbook and stories that have contributed to their meteoric growth. On top of that, we'll talk about a scrappy strategy for launching any physical product business, how to create buzz and community around your brand, how to raise money without losing control, and how to 4x sales in under 12 months. This video is sponsored by Finley. More on them in a minute. Where's the business today? Give me a snapshot of everything, every important detail about the business.
So this 2023, we did kind of mid 7 figures. 80% of that comes from direct to consumer, 15% of that comes from cafes, and 5% is from wholesale and catering and other things that we do. We broke even last year, which is a really big thing for us because we grew the business 4x year over year. So this year, I think there's a chance that we break into the 8 figures. So that's what we're projecting.
What is the big vision here?
You have a product that is consumed by hundreds of millions of people a day across the world that has no authentic representation in the Western world. And so we are building a company that's going to be the household name for chai. You have a drink that is functional, that's low caffeine, low sugar, it's healthy, and it provides people with energy and flavor. That's what we're building.
It is really impressive, right? On pace to be an 8-figure brand with ambitions of being something way bigger. And just as impressive has been their strategy to 4x the business in 2023 while growing intentionally. But before they give you the X's and O's, you need to understand Ayan and Ani's journey. So I want to start at the very beginning. Tell me about your upbringing.
I think childhood for us was it was a mixed bag. I think our parents were super loving and like providers, and we were inspired by that all the time. But first generation immigrants, our parents came here themselves and had us here. It's a very rocky, uncertain path. Like when my parents first got here, they used to drive by pizza shops, and when they would see free delivery, my mom was like, "Can I have my child there?" Because they didn't have healthcare, and they're like, "Oh, do they deliver babies?" The first couch we had in our apartment, my dad pulled out of a dumpster, and it had 3 legs, and they put a soup can in the back, and that was normal for us.
What would you say are the biggest lessons your parents have taught you guys?
Resilience. I don't know, our parents have been through a lot on the family side, health-wise. Obviously, like, dad's kind of shuffling of jobs and hustling to make ends meet and just figuring stuff out. I mean, I think when we talk about the old stories these days, it's like, damn, my dad sold like stock options for like a couple of months between jobs just to like pay the bills.
It's really funny because our parents are the most risk-averse people, naturally. When I make fun of my dad, he'll be like, I'm the original entrepreneur because I gave up whatever I had in another country, came here and started afresh. Our dad, to Ayan's point, is super resilient and he's a solution guy, and our mom's super empathetic. And we somehow find ourselves...
She's a people person too.
Yeah.
Like she will make friends in any room.
Yeah. And we're right in the middle. Interesting like midpoint of our parents' personalities.
Did you guys always think you would be entrepreneurs?
I did. We watched our dad get laid off and kind of go through jobs and that uncertainty as a kid. That's something I remember vividly. And so I remember being 12, 13 years old being like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm not working for anybody. And that was always my North Star.
Talk about what was the first business that either of you started?
The first thing I ever started, I was 16 years old, and I started a record label with a friend of mine. And what that meant was like taking artists, and we were figuring out how to distribute music digitally. But we would print up CDs, we would print up merch, and we would sell them at our school, at local whatevers. And I remember counting my first $1,000, and I was like, oh, okay, I want to chase this feeling forever.
Ani and Ayan's success hasn't just been informed by their upbringing, it's been defined by it. Hustle and grit taught by 2 amazing first-generation immigrants, a love for family and roots, contribution to something way bigger than yourself, and this deep-seated desire to be in control of your destiny via entrepreneurship. For 30 years, the puzzle pieces were starting to line up, contributing to a business and a mission far greater than the brothers could have imagined. The scrappy and serendipitous story behind Kolkata Chai Co. all starts with Ian's spontaneous one-month trip to India. And upon his return, he realized his culture and cuisine were not properly represented in the United States.
So 2018, you know, I was making a little money, going out, grabbing a lot of coffees, exploring all the third wave new coffee places that were popping up. You know, everyone was really talking about where their beans were from and this and that. And chai was always kind of just left off on the menu, this syrupy sweet thing that never really tasted like the chai we had growing up in India. And I was like, there should be an idea for this. And can I make a good cup of chai? And I started testing with my roommates, and finally, you know, I got a permit for the farmer's market and set up a farmer's market in Jersey City. That was what, 2018? And every Sunday I go to a commercial kitchen, rent a U-Haul because I didn't have a car at that time. It was very inefficient, but it was just to figure out, like, do people care? And it was kind of off to the races from that.
What Ian left out was 2018, we're still running the agency. And he's like, I'm going to India for a month. And I'm like, what about our clients?
Small detail.
Right.
Yeah, of course, he didn't want to get into that story. And that was like a very indicative of kind of how our relationship was at that time too. But he was like, I'm burnt out, you know, and I'm like, okay, but like you go take the same salary this month? Like, and he's like, I'm just gonna rock out and pursue this thing.
Yeah.
When he came back, he was like, oh, I'm making chai for my roommates. I was like, all right, well, if you want to do something, let's do it together. Like, let's make something of it, but don't just like make chai for your roommates. Like,
what was the point at which you were like, okay, it's time to take it to the next level and actually like get a brick and mortar space, which is like, that's a massive decision.
It was early 2019. We had been doing these pop-ups in different places in the city, and the crowds kept getting bigger and like way more intense every time. I don't know what the end goal was at that time, but it wasn't brick and mortar. And these pop-ups lines went from 50 to 100 to 150 people. We would look at the number of covers that we would do and we'd be like, we can't top that tomorrow, can we? And you know, we'd end up doubling it. And I think it got to a point where it was like, let's model out, which was very like,
hilarious.
Hilarious amateur model, but it was like, let's model out how many covers we would do at a cafe, like what the rent would be and all that. And I think when we started to do that, it was like, oh, this could be profitable, which was like the first thing we wanted to figure out. I'll never forget that 3-month period where every day it'd be like, should we do this? Shouldn't we do this? There was no blueprint and there was no right or wrong answer. And again, I think Ian intuitively was just like, I'm gonna go look for places. You know, he finds a spot in the East Village. Literally it's 100 square feet front to back. Like the customer facing side is like 30 square feet. And he was like, what do you think? And it was weird. Like, I still remember that day. We walked in there and I was like, yeah, this is it. Like, this is the one.
Felt real, yeah.
And it was bizarre. Like, I know people say that and you can never quantify that feeling, but I still remember that day. We walked in and I was like, no, this feels really good.
So 2023 was a massive year. You 4X'd the business. Now you're talking about an 8-figure business in 2024. Walk me through what you think were kind of the most important strategic decisions you guys made that made this possible.
I think the first strategic thing that we did was we stopped bootstrapping and we did a round of angel funding. We intentionally went out and did not raise venture. Even though it was popular and sexy and kind of gave you that stamp of credibility, we knew that if we raised venture, we would not be able to build this on our own timeline, which I think, you know, intuitively since day one, that's been what saved us. That was something that someone had to explain to me, like, hey, you can raise money without raising venture. And I was like, what do you mean? And like, there's a way to do this. And that sophistication we didn't have. But once we learned that, that was huge.
And the brothers did exactly that. Without crazy connections or a fat trust fund, they raised $1 million to accelerate Kolkata Chai Co. without losing control. They raised from a network of incredible entrepreneurs like the founder of Vice Media, Nick Sharma, and other successful food and beverage founders.
You can do it your way. You can do it in a way that kind of fits your values. And it's all about finding the right people, because there are people out there that will look at brick and mortar and say, no way. Or they'll look at e-commerce or DTC and say, absolutely not. But finding the right people and finding that right match is super important.
Don't count yourself out. Like, you have to believe you can do it, which sounds so generic and basic, but like, there is a path. You just have to go find it.
Totally. While the Sanyal brothers' unique approach to fundraising undoubtedly positioned the business for success, if there's one thing, one secret sauce that allowed them to 4x in 1 year and be on pace to do $10 million in revenue, it has to be their community. Tons of companies and influencers love to say they've built obsessed community, but few actually have anything to show for it. Kolkata Chai Co. is the exception to the rule.
Investing in your community means thinking about them before you make decisions. A lot of things that we did early on was like, we would have a content person at all of our pop-ups or even for opening night or at the cafes, and we would allow people to, we would take portrait photos of folks and hold that mirror up to them and let them see themselves on social media, be able to share it, tag them, make them feel special. Just that one small moment of like, hey, you showed up here, we saw you, and we kind of spun that back to you. Now go tell somebody how you experienced KCC. That was huge. We do this thing called National Chai Day, which is every September, and we'll give away chai for the whole day. And we'll shut the block down. This year we had 800 people right out here. We got lucky this year. We had a couple Netflix actors and actresses and people show up, and it's like, if you come to a KCC party, you might be able to take a photo with your favorite, Netflix actor or celebrity or comedian or whoever it is, and you got free chai. And all you had to do is just show up and bring your friends.
Now, you may be wondering what actually caused the aggressive growth in their business. Undoubtedly, community and their fundraising acted as the foundation for successful business and brand, but what specifically caused it to 4x? The answer lies in their big pivot, a frightening but fortuitous decision forced by the global pandemic.
D2C is now 80% of the business. Talk about when you made that decision, why you made that decision, and kind of like the strategy behind it.
Start of 2020, it was like packaged mixed product. It was like kind of on the mood board. But then once COVID hit, it was like, we got to get this out immediately. And
did you have to shut the cafe down?
We did shut the cafe down. And then we were doing takeout and delivery only for the months of that summer, I guess, when things were really bad. But immediately we were on Squarespace, right? Squarespace website. I think I took the product pictures on my iPhone, and like it was just a brown craft bag filled with our tea and spice. And I remember doing like the ratios out and making sure that this makes a good cup of chai. And I was like, all right, cool, off to the races. 2020 started out as a survival mode, and then when did it really become a thing? I think end of 2020, that holiday season.
Yeah, that winter, that holiday season, we were like, oh.
I think DTC made as much as the cafe.
Way more.
That year, and we were like,
in 2020?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
As you think about building this business moving forward, what's the game plan?
I think the vision is we want to be the household name for chai. And what that means is that it consists of brick and mortar, DTC, grocery, retail, and also food service. So you can walk into your favorite cafe in Minnesota and you can get your Kolkata chai on that menu as well as you walk into your grocery store and it's on the shelf. I think for the next 12 to 36 months, I think there's still a big emphasis on DTC. And then we want to explore what grocery and retail looks like. That's an arena where a lot of businesses go to lose money. And it's a very predatory arena because of trade spend and the way it's set up. There's a model that the industry tells you that they want you to follow. But if you can come in and break that model and kind of shake things up, you create leverage and you create a way to be special. And I think we've done that with this brick and mortar and DTC mix. We're trying to figure out how do we do that at the grocery level.
Guys, thanks so much for doing this and congrats on your success.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate you guys.
Entrepreneurs know that after end of year starts yet another crucial season, beginning of year. Don't waste time by manually sending out invoices and following up on overdue payments. And definitely don't throw away your hard-earned profit on transaction fees. Avoid expensive payment processors and start off 2024 strong with a little help from Finly. Finly is a digital back office platform that helps businesses manage all of the time-consuming operations that come with, well, running a business. Automate your business with Finly. The best part, Finly doesn't break the bank. The annual plan is $397 per year, so you can set it and forget it. And if you don't love it, no problem. If Finly doesn't help you run your business better within 30 days, you will get a full refund. Get started at finly.com/foundersjournal. That's FINLI.com/foundersjournal.